Hello, everybody. I hope you're all having a fantastic time coming up to the end of December. It's certainly flying. A lot of events actually kind of stop happening over um, like the last couple of weeks of December and the first couple of weeks of January. For those of us that are in the ongoing event industry, so where we typically see doing a lot of live events, uh, this time is kind of our slower time. So this is a great time to start to pick up on little bits of training, uh, other observation, get all your stuff in place for the upcoming year, and also celebrate everything that you've achieved the last 12 months. That's one of the key elements in having a fun, enjoyable, successful life, is remembering to celebrate every little moment that is a success. And you'll be here with us in a second. She's actually doing a bunch of sales calls. There's a couple of events that are happening, and she's helping some people with their sales process right now. So let's have a quick kind of look at the elements that you want to practice over the upcoming weeks and months, and well, I guess always keep practicing those elements that are key to your success, and that is related to sales, because without sales, all companies stop. Doesn't even matter if you don't sell a product, so to speak, but you create raw materials or something else that, like, for example, when I was a kid, I grew up in the country, and my cousins had a dairy farm. They still sold the milk, even though they didn't think they were in sales, because it was all part of the Milk Authority Board. So they had 220 cattle that I would milk on a daily basis for 1 month a year while they went on holidays. And that milk would all go into a huge vat. That vat would then get picked up by the Milk Authority Board, and they would get a check back from it. So they weren't in the sales process, so to speak, like we are, yet there's still something that they sell. And that's the thing to remember. Every company survives with sales. Sales is the lifeblood of any company. Without the sale, what ends up happening is that um, you lose life out of the company, and it closes down. Doesn't matter how pretty your marketing is, if your product doesn't sell, you're not going to survive. So we want to look at the three-step process, and that is the three-step process for any sale to happen. And that is connect, coach, close. And there's a number of different ways you can do the connect, coach, close. And it is very important to do the connect phase correctly and the connect phase authentically. And when you do connect, a connection is not just saying hi, learning the person's name, and getting some information from them. A true connection is an energetic exchange, it's an energetic feeling, because a true connection means that that person now has a positive expectation for the next time they meet you, the next time they see you. They look forward to the opportunity to connect with you again. So that's where you can tell that it's really happening when the person is smiling and laughing, or sharing personal details about themselves. When they open up and start to share and talk, then you realize that's the litmus test that you've made a connection. If they're still kind of closed and just giving one word answers or short answers that don't expand upon themselves, you still got to keep doing the connection. You can't go coaching or closing yet with your product because you haven't connected. And when you try to coach or close before there's connection, it's considered emotionally as an intrusion. And this is where Jace's How to Sell from Stage program and his he has in the phraseology of how you do your talk, in the sequence of steps, he actually creates a connection between you, the speaker, and the audience. So when you follow that system and you create your talk and all the add-on elements that are connected with that, when you do that, you're creating a connection with your audience. You're opening them up. You're getting them to yes, yes, to make little buy-ins. That's what we call it, little buy-in moments of them connecting with you, of them agreeing with you, of them being a part of the process. And that's very important because then when they've got in the habit of doing those little moments, you can go to the bigger moment, which is them actually giving you a credit card to purchase your program. And there is the same process works regardless of what you're selling, regardless of how much you're selling. What varies is the amount of time it takes to connect with a person for a $50,000 program rather than a $5,000 program. And so that's all covered in Jace's very cool World-Class Speaker Academy Black Belt program. So connecting is the first step that you need to do for any sales process. And a way you can do that, the way you can do your connecting practice over these upcoming months, if you're not doing any sales things, is connect with strangers. Because everybody that walks into your room that's not already your client is typically a stranger. So you can get very comfortable by practicing over the next few weeks of talking to strangers, connecting to strangers. Here's the step. Step one is smile. When we smile, when it's a genuine smile, you see these little things here wrinkle, the eyes actually open, and we open our eyes. You see this? Every time that you meet someone first time, it's a natural piece of human behavior. You go, we open our eyes. That says we're not a threat. Because like, here's anger, here's confusion, frustration. You see how the borrows go in for the negative emotions? Happy, excited, joyful. The eyes open up. So practicing, I mean, let's not be a muppet out there going to every single person, but just start to become aware, watching people if they open their eyes, open their eyebrows, and smile at you. If you flash a smile at someone, they will instinctively flash a smile back at you because it's part of our human behavior to connect. So that's a little practice. Practice that. Next step, say hello, like hello, or hope you're having a good day. Anything. Get an exchange. Now, if you want to create a conversation, you acknowledge something about them. And then one of the key elements on being in connecting phase is to be interested in them. So you're interested in them. A lot of coaches and salespeople try to place themselves at the top of the pyramid very early on and talk about how great they are or everything they've done. And so they try to be interesting rather than interested, ed. Interest, ed, in the person rather than themselves being interest, ing, interesting. So by that, you talk to them like, how's your day going? What are you doing? Oh, as they talk, you acknowledge certain moments, and this is called the connect and reloop fashion. So you want to acknowledge a moment where they talked about, oh, my son's playing football this weekend, and you're like, okay, I don't have a son, but I do have a grandson. I'm like, oh, how old is it? My grandson loves to play soccer. How old is your son? So there I connected saying, oh, we both have a small male child that plays sport. And then I asked them back a question. So now I'm interested in them. I created a topic of like-minded, a topic of connection. And then through the conversation back to them for me to be interested in them. Get people talking about themselves. That's a great way to create that connection. Acknowledge moments that you have some similarity or connection or experience with, and then don't leave it there for them to ask questions about you. Turn it back around so you're asking a question about them. Get them to talk. In the first phase of connect, coach, close, you will want to be doing a more listening and less talking. Get those questions out. Start to be an investigator, learn from them. So that's very important in the connection phase. So you can practice that. Remember, smile, say hello, ask them questions about themselves. And the challenge here is for them to smile, respond back, share information with you. And your challenge is to get their name, get a smile, and then have a quick little engaged chat with them, and then wish them all the best and bless them on their day, and you move on to the next person. Now, if you're out at parties or you're out at a club or a pub, this is the next step up. This is your next step up training. You go up to strangers, a small group or an individual, connect with them, do this connection, and then move on. Then you go to a second group. And when you go to the second group, you repeat the same things. So now you've got two groups, so to speak, that are in this place, and you didn't know either of them. Then you want to do the process of introducing those two groups to each other. Like, hey, John, who you met earlier, come on over here. I'd like to introduce you. These are my friends, Rebecca, Simone, Juan. This is John. John does blah, 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 what you learn about him. And then you mention these three people who blah, blah, blah. So now you've connected two groups together. So the first, if you go out with a couple of group of friends and you're all in the study of human behavior, the challenge is to see who can connect the most people the fastest. And then what's very exciting is by the end of the night, everybody in that club should know you. You should know everybody. And then people start to brag about how they know you. And you start to hear stories back that you're like, that's very interesting. Because people will fill in gaps when they feel it's important or there's status involved in knowing someone. The more people who seem to know you, the more popular you are. Popularity is a major aspect for a lot of people in them feeling safe. For them to feel safe, they want to be connected to the village. And of course, you've created now a micro village within this party, within this establishment. And popularity within the village makes you a chief or a significant person. So everyone will start to ingratiate themselves with you more because they want to be closer to the person that everybody knows. So that's your challenge. That's a quick little challenge in the connecting phase and what's possible for you to do to learn how to connect. And remember, connecting is the first step for any form of sales process. Even some of you say, well, what about an ad and someone just buys straight onto the computer? You know, they don't actually talk to you. Your ad did the connecting. Your ad answered the questions, which is the coaching. And your ad created the desire for them because the connecting and the coaching was solid to answer the questions that they're already thinking in their brain. And the next question they have is, how can I have this for myself? And then your ad provided that option for them to click through to buy or whatever. So there's still connect, coach, close, even in a piece of ad. And when it's done really well, it can happen extremely fast, and you won't even realize it's happening. And when you can create this connecting phase as a habit, so it's just a habit for you to do it, it becomes very just simple and basic. That's called unconscious competence. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking to get unconscious competence in your connect phase. So first, there's the very first step where everybody starts is unconscious incompetence. And that is where most seminar sales teams are placed, and most seminar sales events are placed in the unconscious incompetence. They don't realize that they don't know what they don't know. So they're just doing what they think works. And most people, unless they have training, practically every single person sells or teaches the way they were sold or the way they were taught. So they're just doing what works for them, thinking it will work for everyone else. And that's not true. So when they have an understanding of, oh, hey, why am I only getting 10% sales instead of 80% sales, like Amy and Jamie? Like, what's going on there? So then they have conscious incompetence. So unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence. Now they're like, oh, maybe there's something else I can learn. Then you're learning all these processes that we're teaching and selling, teaching and training and sharing. Now you're running into conscious competence. So you're aware, and only when you're aware are you competent with it. Then as you practice it more and more, you get to a phase called unconscious competence, and it's become a habit. So now your connecting phase is a habit. And life becomes really sweet when you can have unconscious competence in your connecting phase. You do it at supermarkets, you do it at parties, you do it everywhere and anywhere. And you've probably heard Amy and I talk about this. Like, our first goal when we meet people is to see if we can make their day a little bit better. We want to add value to their day. A way we know if we've added value is they smile or laugh. So our goal is just to make people smile when we meet them, smile, laugh. And so it's our natural habit now. And because of that, we've had upgrades in hotels and airplanes and free desserts at coffees and restaurants. Actually, we were taken out to a restaurant. This Texas and Brazilian barbecue place. It was really nice, and a little pricey, but delicious. So we were there, and the people who took us there was there was 5 other people, and Amy and I, and they go there all the time. So they kind of like every time they celebrate something, they go there. So they're there every like 3 or 4 months. They'll turn up. Very first time for us. Amy and I did our process of connection with the waitress, and then the waitress brought out this special dessert sauce. And she goes, oh, this is something that we do back in the kitchen. I thought you might like it. I'm like, I do like it. I love it. And everybody else at the table is like, we've been coming here for years. No one ever told us about this. And our very first time there, they shared something with us that the staff does in the kitchen. They had a true connection with us. The barriers were down. And if I was selling something then, other than my jokes, I could have sold this person. I could have sold half the staff in the kitchen because the waitress now had a connection with me. She would have explained the great experience that she was having to other people in the kitchen, and I could have had warm leads because of that. So the connecting phase is so important. Now, out of the 4 personality types, there's one personality type that's always rushing to the end. They're in a hurry, in a hurry, in a hurry. And what happens is when they do that, they lose the sale. Here we have the lovely Amy with us, and she's putting her headphones on. So thanks everybody for joining us today. It's been wonderful. I'll see you all. Just kidding. I was just explaining, Amy, the 3-step process and connection and how important connection is. And I'm not hearing her. Or is that me? I hope you guys have heard me. I hope I haven't been muted the whole time. That would have been awkward. I'm hearing beeps and pops and dops. Oh, so talking about connecting, how important connecting is. And when connecting's done correctly, you can have all these extra bonuses come your way. Can you hear me, Amy?
I can hear now. Sorry about that.
Oh, you freaked me out. I thought I'd been talking for 15 minutes and I was muted.
It was me. I'm so sorry.
I'm like, yeah, I started to sweat behind the back of my ears, down my neck. I'm like, oh my God, what a goose. Okay, freaks me out there. So yeah, I was talking about how connecting is so important and how they can practice it and do that for the upcoming weeks.
That's awesome. Did you also talk about internal and external locus of control by any chance?
No, I started on the connection phase because connection is very important for you to be able to see whether there's internal or external control, because you want the person to actually be honest with you. You want that person to be open. So connection creates the openness. Then they talk or speak to you from an unguarded position as opposed to a guarded position. A guarded position looks like being controlled through the constraints of social consciousness. That means that the environment of the life they are living within that society has certain unspoken rules. So when a person is guarded, they're still saying what you think they want you to hear. No, I think that's the right phrase. They're saying what they think you want to hear. They're saying what they think is the right response based on the environment. So when you connect and get the person open, then they're a little bit more genuine and real with you. Then you're able to see whether they have an internal or external locus of control, which Amy will now quickly explain.
Yeah. So basically, I'm just adding this here. Update product. Hold on 2 seconds. Okay, so internal and external locus of control. There's times where it's like we think that we are able to sell to somebody, but an internal locus of control means that I have control of my life, and whether it's a good outcome or a bad outcome or result in my life, that I'm the common denominator. That means that I can fix it. I have control to change my circumstances and I can change my situation. External locus of control means that it's the ex-husband's fault. It's the economy's fault. Nothing's in their control. It's completely out of their control. So like I even had a conversation the other day with a gal, really nice girl, and we were even talking about limitations around money. And I asked her, I said, finish the sentence for me. I believe that people that have money got it by, and she finished it by, she goes, they're trust fund babies. So the belief there is that you can't have money because other people get it in a trust fund, right? So I repeated that back, and she was like, no, because she had an external locus of control. There was no way she was in control of even her own thoughts at this moment. And a person like that, when you get someone like that in front of you, it's super important to recognize it, because there's no point in trying to sell that person anything. They are not going to be able to justify a purchase if they believe that they can't change their situation. So it's very difficult to sell a person that has an external locus of control. So what I do with those people is I try to get them to shift in that. I don't try to sell them anything, because there's nothing to sell that person. The best thing you can do and the best way that you can help that person is to get them to shift to an internal locus of control. So my entire session with that person was to help her shift to an internal locus of control. Nothing to sell her, nothing to sell that person. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So recognizing these things, it's like, rather than spending an entire phone call, what it ends up feeling like as a salesperson when you're on a call with somebody like that and you're trying to sell them something, it feels like this through the whole call. And it just feels awkward and really weird. Yeah, thank you. It just feels really awkward and weird when when that happens and there's no sale that's happening. So rather than doing this for an entire call, you might as well try to help the person shift. And when you help people like that and they are ready to buy, then they come back to you later. But if you're just trying to sell somebody and like looking at everybody as just a number and you're just ticking boxes off and okay, I made the call, I did the thing, done with that. No, next person. It's like, no, get on there and help them figure out who they are, where they're at, what their next step is. Maybe their next step isn't your program. Maybe their next step is shifting from an external to an internal locus of control. Maybe their next step is they have to figure, maybe their cash flow is not where they'd like it to be. Maybe help them with the cash flow first. Right? So how can you help them before they get off the phone call? How can you help them to really gain some understanding and have a better life? And if you get on every single sales call looking at how can I help? How can I serve this person? And you come from that perspective instead of your agenda, which is to sell something, which is fine to have that agenda, but that agenda should not be in the front of the call. It should be in the back of the call.
And that agenda should be part of your overall agenda to help a person. Primary element is to help a person. And remember, if your sale helps the person, doing all this stuff we teach you to support them in buying is great. If that person does not benefit from having a product or service, then all this stuff we teach at the moment. Well, I mean, there's some things out there that's just not right for some people. Regardless, I could. I don't want to disconnect anybody. Sometimes
if someone was going to try to sell Jamie a stockbroking coaching program, that's not the right thing. Jamie is
great example.
Yeah, Jamie has absolutely no interest in that. Right?
Unless it's chicken stock. Yeah. Some chicken stock with some noodles and some shrimp. Oh, a little bit of like slightly fried cod mixed up with some vegetables and some gum cha. Oh, delicious. Now you're talking my language.
Now we're in, right?
Yeah, but sitting at a computer looking at stocks, putting on, hey, that's great for some. I've even coached in it. It's not like I don't know it. I'm just not interested in it, which is why I don't coach in it anymore, because I'm like, I don't know if I can get you enthusiastic about this when I'm not. But I would definitely ask the person, I would ask the right questions, I would connect, I would find out if this is something that they're looking for or wanting to do. And if it was a yes, then it was very simple, because then I wasn't selling them. I'm just helping them find the money to purchase the program. That's really what a great salesperson is doing, is finding out if it's right for them and then supporting them and getting the money. And there's many different ways you can do that. Yet when people do NLP or sales tactics to kind of force or coerce a person into a purchase, then that's not right. You should be supporting a person in making a decision that supports their life.
Yeah.
And then sales is a beautiful thing. Sales is just another word for coaching. Sales is just another word for helping somebody. A lot of people are like, I feel uncomfortable doing sales. You feel uncomfortable doing unethical or dirty sales, and you should never do that. You should feel uncomfortable about that if you have a soul. So
you should totally feel uncomfortable about that.
But you should never feel uncomfortable with what Amy and I teach, because it's really about getting to know a person, make a new friend, and help that person into something that's going to benefit their life. And that's a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool.
Absolutely. I was trying to get a link ready for Bali, but I don't have one for Jace yet. However, we do have a really great event coming up for Bali. If you guys want to go into it, DM me, tell me Jace sent you. Jace Sauer sent you. You can DM me. We've got 2 big events coming. The first one is Heal the Healers, and it is going to be let me just pull this up.
Well, you're going to learn about the limitations that you may have with sales, and that's all going to be cleaned out through the energy that's naturally at Bali, and by the training and by the process. We're going to clear out and remove inherited belief structures, um, self-worth limitations, and all this is going to start by getting your level 1 Reiki first, and then with understanding how you can see and feel the process of energy with you and in you. When we're going to use that through each day, there's going to be things like a sacred water healing ceremony in Bali, and then we're going to talk about the flow of energy. So you're going to have training in regards to energy and wealth and money and sales, and then you're going to actually have experiences in Bali that are correlated with that new healing and new awareness. So then you're amplifying your own abilities, your own awareness, your own ability to see and read a situation energetically as well as intellectually, as well as all the tools and systems for you to be able to ethically and easily create buying desire in your future clients.
Yep. You're going to do an unlocking abundance. We're going to remove genetic self-sabotage. We're going to have a millionaire for the night experience.
Oh, yes.
Chakra opening charity experience. Sell your service, not your soul system. We're going to do a full moon release and healed planet meditation. We're going to get sound healing at the Pyramid Chi. We're going to get to do the sacred water healing ceremony. We're going to do the bala bead making, fire healing, cacao ceremony, and we're going to go to one of the oldest temples on the island. It's a 1,000-year-old temple. It's the Besakai Temple, and it is absolutely amazing. Like everything on this island is just like magical. And of course, we're going to go to the monkey forest, which everybody's like, monkeys. So that's really cool. And then we also have another one, second one. So you could do one or both retreats if you wanted. Humorpreneur is going to be a blast. We're bringing 3 comedians over with us. We've got Tom Cotter from America's Got Talent. He was a second runner up. So he won second place on America's Got Talent on comedy. That is such a hard thing to do, but he's super family friendly. He does lots of corporate gigs. He understands business. So we've got him. We've got Carrie Louise, who was on Last Comic Standing. And then we also have comedian Craig Gass, who was on The Stern Show, King of Queens, The Simpsons, King of the Hill. He's done tons and tons and tons of stuff. Sex and the City. He was in Sex and the City. And we're going to have the comedians teach you guys how to be funnier, how to put more funny into your content, whether it's just your sales pitch or just your introduction, or also in your content online. You're also going to get the opportunity to be in the content with them. So they're going to be posting pictures on their social medias. By the way, Tom Cotter has almost 400,000 people that follow him. So you guys are going to get to be in their content. You're going to be vacationing with them. We're also going to bring over an influencer that's going to teach you how to create better content. And Jamie and I are going to be teaching the sales training on that. So it's going to be phenomenal. Really cool stuff.
And how to get sponsors. And the thing is, a lot of people think they need to be like a basketball megastar or have millions of followers to get a sponsor. Amy has a small amount of followers compared to like people with 400 or 500,000.
I'm what they call a micro influencer, you guys. I'm so small. I'm micro.
But yet she's got sponsored by Versace.
I got sponsored by Versace last week. I also got sponsored by Echelon Fitness. They've sent me their spin bike, which is an incredible bike. I'm also sponsored by RDX boxing bags. I've got $400 boxing bags. Oofy Home Security.
Oh yeah, we got like $5,000 worth of Oofy security cameras here because they sponsored us. You don't have to be super big yet. You do know the right steps on how to do it, and that's what's going to be taught along with the 3 comedians that are celebrity comedians, getting in the celebrity comedians content so their reach. Imagine you've got you're growing your social media account and you've only got 10 or 20,000 people in it. And all of a sudden you're in a collaboration with people that have 500,000. Your reach is now like just not doubled, it's 100-fold more. And you're going to get your your account is going to grow extremely well. And because for those folks out there where this is your business, with the Healer or the Humorpreneur event, either of those, more than 50% of your time there's actually going to be working. So
creating content.
Creating content.
You can write the whole thing off, and
Yeah.
we're hiring in camera drones and gimbal footage for both retreats. So you are going to have access to all of the footage as well. So we're including the footage. We're including the footage in your retreat. So yeah, so it's going to be really phenomenal. Definitely reach out, private message myself or Jamie, and we would be happy to have a conversation with you about it. Let us know that Jace Souter sent you. And so, and then also if you're interested in working closer with Jace, let us know that too. I'd be happy to jump on a phone call, let you tell you what that looks like. We'd be happy to break it all down for you and see how we can help you. My personal superpower, I am able to figure out how to monetize anything. So if you are like, I cannot figure out how to make money from this, I know this is a great idea, but I don't know why I'm not making money, or I don't know what's happening, let me peek into your business and I can do a deep dive and we can help you out.
Yeah, let's have a look at what you got. Tell us what you want, and we can help. So I hope you folks have a fantastic day, a brilliant week. We look forward to chatting to you next Monday. Come with your questions if you got some questions, and we can help you out with that. Remember that connecting's super important. So go back and watch the beginning of here when I explain how and some of the practice things you can do, and create that unconscious competence with it, so it becomes a natural habit for you, and you'll start to get a whole bunch of bonuses in your life. And remember, everybody out there, no matter what it looks like on their face, everyone is wearing a mask, everyone pretends they're not wearing a mask, and everyone is suffering in some fashion or form. So there's something you can do to help. You can help them and you'll help yourself. And quite simply, just smile at a stranger. So smile at a stranger, and if you're adventurous, give them a little wink.